Hey guys, so today I thought we could have a little sit-down casual chat about university. It's that time of year where people are either getting their A-level results and heading off to uni, or maybe you're the year before and you're still considering whether to go or not, or maybe you're a few years behind and you're just trying to think about the future. This video is just about my personal experience with uni and my personal opinions. Obviously everyone will be completely different. Every university experience is so different and unique, so I just thought I would share with you my story and answer some questions that you guys sent to me on Twitter. So first of all, let me start by telling you where I went to uni and what I studied. I went to Birmingham City University, which is obviously in the UK, and I studied marketing, advertising and PR. I took a gap year beforehand and I did not ever intend to go to university. It wasn't my plan. I'm not really sure why. My mum didn't go, my dad did, one of my sisters did, one didn't. It just wasn't really something I thought was for me. I was ready to finish school at 18 after my A-levels. I was encouraged by my careers teacher to at least try out for one uni, so I found one uni that had one course that I quite liked the sound of, which was this one, and I thought I would just apply. To be honest, I didn't really understand how the whole UCAS thing worked. I didn't have any extra points because up until that point I didn't really think I needed to. So I just gave it a go anyway, and my older sister helped me with my personal statement because she is very good at English. The night before getting my A-levels, I checked the UCAS website and it said I had an unconditional offer to my university choice, which was amazing. I thought I'd done so well in my A-levels, but then the next day when I actually went to get my A-level results, I realised I didn't do as well as I thought I had or wanted to. I got a C and 2 Ds. And I got 220 UCAS points and I actually needed 240 to get in. So I don't know why I got in. It might have been to do with my personal statement or how many people had tried out for the course. I don't know why, but I was lucky and I got in, and at that point I thought, well, if I've got in, then I might as well at least go give it a try. So that's my story on how I got into uni. I wanted to be somewhere not too far away from home, so Birmingham was about 2.5 hours away from London, and that was good for me at the time because I wanted to be able to come home and see my new nieces and nephews that were being born at the time. I took a gap year because I'm very pro gap year. For me, I really wanted just a break. I'd been studying from the age of 4 to 18 and I wanted a break and I wanted a chance to kind of grow up and have some experiences. I worked in my gap year. I had a job in a shop in Gap. I also worked as a runner in an advertising company. I worked as a receptionist, and then I saved up money to go travelling for 3 months before my sister got married. I travelled around Australia, Thailand, Fiji, LA, and that was an amazing experience for me to just kind of travel the world, and you learn a lot from travelling. So I'm really happy I took a gap year. I learned a lot. I went travelling and I got some really good work experience on my CV. And then a year came around and it was time to go to uni. I remember my parents took me up to uni and they stayed for the day, we went out for lunch, and then when it was time for them to go home, I just burst into tears. I was so upset. My flat was actually really nice. It was one of those unis where we had like a flat of 6 people and a communal kitchen, and the people in my flat were really lovely and welcoming. I am the sort of person who gets really homesick. I still do now, but back then I was even worse. So I remember for the first week, during Freshers Week, I found it really hard. I just found the whole concept of the first week being like party week crazy, because the first week I felt so anxious and homesick. The last thing I wanted to do was go out and get drunk with strangers. I found it really hard. I remember that I didn't really eat much during the first week and I lost so much weight. It was terrible, but when I feel anxious and homesick, I just lose my appetite. I remember just eating sweet corn out the tin and my flatmates thinking I was really weird. I actually made really good friends with a girl in my flat who was also finding the first week really hard, and although I thought that was good at first, she ended up wanting to drop out, and she tried to convince me to drop out too, and I was so homesick that and you could have easily convinced me. So she was kind of wanting to drop out and I was thinking about it, and in the end I just said I'm gonna give it another week and give it a go, and she dropped out, and obviously I'm so happy that I didn't drop out because I ended up loving uni. But that first week was really hard, and someone asked if I made any friends that I didn't end up being friends with, and obviously this girl who dropped out, we didn't end up being friends, but I felt quite sorry for her. She really struggled in that first week too. I actually met Rich on the first day when I had to sign in on my course, which you would know if you've watched the videos of us two together, and luckily I had the most amazing friends on my course. I think a lot of people at uni make friends with the people they live with, but for some reason at my uni, our course, I think it's because it was quite a specific kind of creative course, we all made really good friends. So it was great. We worked together, we all helped each other out, and it was really nice to go in every day to lectures and like your friends would be there. So first year I lived in halls of residence, second year I lived in a house with 4 people I think, and then third year I lived in a house just with 2 guys, which was really easy actually. I was really lucky. I had help from my parents to pay for my rent, so my student loan, which is like a loan you get from the government, paid for my tuition fees and for me to kind of live. Obviously a lot of people do have to get jobs while they're at uni. For me, I just know I would have completely failed. I'm that sort of person, I really struggled in school with education, that if I don't really concentrate on it and have no distractions, I'm just gonna fail. I know that kind of sounds a bit ridiculous, but I'm really grateful for my parents for helping me out. And now I'm left with a very big loan to pay off. Rich did have a job at uni though. He had a job during first year and second year. He worked at a bar. Third year he quit his job and his parents helped him out because he really wanted to focus on his dissertation and getting a good grade. My main reason for going to uni was to gain life experience. I felt pretty confident that the sort of course I went to do isn't essential for getting a job. It's different if you're becoming a doctor or something where you really need like that qualification. But for me, doing something like marketing, advertising, PR is handy, but you can easily just kind of get work experience and work your way up. For me, going to uni was about living by myself, learning how to cook for myself, meeting new friends, because after school there isn't really another time where you get to meet a lot of people. And just all the experiences that come with going to uni. I was very aware though that when I finished the 3 years of uni, it would be really hard to get jobs, and I knew from hearing about the people who had left the year above me that they'd finished their course and no one really seemed to care at the time about what degree you had. So I made it my priority in the summers in between uni to get jobs. I interned at PR companies. I basically interned anywhere I could, and by the time I finished uni I had 2 pages worth of work experience. For me, I knew that would be the thing to get me a job, not necessarily my uni course. It's obviously a lot easier if you're living in London to intern because you have somewhere to stay, because a lot of the internships aren't paid. But a lot of my friends living out of London would stay with cousins or friends, or some of them even stayed with me. Rich stayed with me while he interned because he's not from London. After a lot of hard work and very amazing, helpful friends, I somehow ended up getting a first at uni, which is crazy for me because I never even got an A at school. But I did think that kind of was helpful getting a job, but from my personal experience, the people I interviewed with were way more interested in the work experience I had interning in the summers. The minute I left university, a lot of my friends went off travelling, but I went straight into a job, straight into interning. I didn't want to waste any time. For some reason I put a lot of pressure on myself and I felt very rushed to get into the working world. I had a gap year, I had 3 years of study, and I just wanted to get earning money and getting a job. So I went straight into interning, built up my CV again, so I had more recent experiences to talk about in interviews. I don't regret going to uni. I mean, I met Rich at uni, so that alone is kind of worth it because I'm going to be with him forever, so that's amazing. I also made some amazing friends and just learned so much about living away from home. I also started my blog at uni, so none of this would be happening if I didn't go to uni. I probably wouldn't have started my blog or YouTube channel. Those 2 things alone make it worth going to uni for me. But when it comes to the actual course, I did gain a lot of confidence from doing presentations and things like that. I do think I still would have been able to somehow get the jobs that I had if I hadn't have gone to uni. I would have just started a bit earlier. And maybe if I hadn't have gone to uni, I'd be further along with my life, because I guess it's kind of like taking 3 years out from moving out, getting married, all those things. So I feel like I've rambled on for a while, but hopefully covered a few different topics, and some of the questions that you guys sent me, hopefully I answered them. If you do have any kind of queries about uni, feel free to tweet me at @LilyPebbles. I'm happy to answer some of your questions. As I said, everyone has such a different uni experience, but I loved uni and I hated school, so maybe that'll help you if you're at school and thinking, I want to drop out, I never want to do education again. Uni is very different. It's so fun, and it's different to having a teacher in school. The lecturers are kind of on your level, you call them by their first name and they trust you to just do the work if you want to do the work. No one's going to make you. And I found that approach really helped. I got my head down and I worked harder than I'd ever worked in school. Good luck to anyone who's going to uni this September. If you, like me, also get really homesick in the first week, just try and find a friend to get through it with you, and don't worry, it will get so much better. By second year freshers, I was on the freshers crew, like helping all the new freshers come in. So good luck, thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys soon. Bye.